So
how did they debunk that?
So they basically asked her, they said, hey, you remember yesterday you testified that you stayed in your home and you were upset and that Puff had allegedly left from a freak off and blah, blah, blah. Like, they went down what she said.
Right.
Then she was like, yeah. And they said, well, do you remember, and they ran down the date that you spoke to the prosecutors and you told them that you were forced to get into a car. You were crying, you were upset, but you didn't have a choice according to you, right? Like, you were like basically forced to get in this car to go with them to run into Suge Knight. And she was like, I never said that. And they said, oh, okay, well, we have the transcripts from your interview with the prosecutors right here. She looks at it. She pauses for a moment. She said, I don't know why this would say that because I've always said that I didn't go. And I'm like, but it's an interview you did with prosecutors, so it looks crazy. And there was so many moments like that where
that's why you shouldn't try to remember nothing when you was on drugs.
Right.
When you try to recall things when you're on drugs, no.
Now, let me talk about that because I thought about that too. Like, she said a lot yesterday and the day before that about how much they were using drugs. So some things may be a little hazy for her. She couldn't even remember some of the escorts and names that they knew that she had slept with, right? So
who remembers escorts' names?
No, she remembered a lot of them
because they were using
they were using a lot of them for a long period of time and taking them to different states. But drug use. So there was a time in 2017 where things were like super, super hazy, right? And she on the stand said, I really don't remember much from this time because there was something else that they were talking to her about and it was just all over the place and she wasn't sounding like she was telling the truth. So they're talking to her about the drug use. And the day before, remember I told you guys, they were asking her about the drug use and asking her how she would resupply on drugs. Like, who gave her the drug dealer's contacts and stuff like that. And she said, Diddy. Mm-hmm. And when she said that, I watched Diddy in court look at her like, girl, what? Mm-hmm. Yesterday on the stand, they said, okay, so let's talk about your drug use, right? Because is it or is it not true that, both of you guys were using drugs, but Diddy was still able to run multiple businesses and like ran down a list of everything he was doing. He was more functioning. And she was like, yeah, I mean, you could say that. And then they go into having a conversation about the fact that at one point in time, Puff was calling drug dealers and telling them to stop serving Cassie because she was so bad off. Like, she was worse off on drugs than he was. And Cassie admitted that was happening. The day before that, though, they painted it as if she was like lost in this whole like drug abuse thing that was caused and spiraled out by Puff. Mm-hmm. Yesterday, the conversation was, no, you were making choices on your own, to the point where he was even having to intervene with some of her friends because he didn't like how much drugs she was doing. He was trying to like protect the way that they were doing. Like, they were doing their things, right? But he was trying to make sure that it was, from what they're alleging, that it was a lot more safe. And she didn't push back on it.
I thought they were saying, I thought Diddy's team was saying that Diddy was also on drugs really bad, and they were trying to say that's why he didn't remember putting hands on her.
But he even said he OD'd.
Yes. So look, they never, and this is why I'm saying the prosecution left their star witness out there looking crazy, because Diddy's team has never ran from any of that. They have talked about his drug use. Yesterday, it did come up in court that he overdosed at this around the time that Whitney Houston passed